Is he the oldest Raksha now?
You know, I
No,
would
it's still Chess. It's still Chess, right?
Is it?
no, but here's the
Yeah,
thing:
Chess is the
does his
oldest.
accumulative time within the weight of time on the other side? If
Okay,
you
yeah,
add
yeah, okay.
all of this together now, if it actually like factors into his whole lifespan, would he not be amongst the oldest now?
Yeah, I think Chess would still be older. One.
Would he? Because
No, even then. Wait, no, it depends. Was Chess around with the ancient humans?
he was very, 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 very young because he was there when Brilith and them made the city, but he was a kid.
Chess still might be older, but
Chess
he's at
is
least
older, he said, because he's literally born at the beginning of the universe. Okay.
Okay,
But,
yeah.
but
Okay,
remember,
But a cumulative
but
time is what I'm basically talking about, though.
that's what I'm saying. Because he was there when like the ancient humans first came about. He lived there for millions of years. Didn't he? He was there for a long time before his second time jump.
I can't. Yeah, because he was waiting for Rand to just like pop up.
Yeah, he was there for a
He
long,
really
long
was,
time.
but I guess we'd have to know the literal numbers of years Chess is in total, on days,
Yeah,
minutes, seconds, seconds to Maruna's like lifespan up until getting set back, and then what added on to that. But then again, I'm
I
like,
got
if he comes
Maruna.
to present time, does he? I don't know. I guess
I got Maruna.
there's some variables, but I got you though. I think it go either way. Maruna has accumulated more experience for sure. Okay, you got more XP though. So yeah, this is where he says the space where that white space again. No, the ground is still the same where I was before. I could see an exit too. If I want to get out, I can go over there. But then Rouse said he wasn't supposed to leave the temple. He tried to wake him up, and he looks at the record, and I think this is where things start to get very, very, very goddamn interesting. He says a black paper. So at first I thought it was blank, and then he's like, no. It looks black because there is too much writing, which
That was
means
insane to me.
Ananta has done so much shit over and over and over and tried and remixed, tried some shit, didn't work, tried it this way, didn't work, maybe thought it worked this time. He's done it so many times that events are just being written on top of it over and overwriting the previous events over and over and over to the point the paper looks black. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Crazy as fuck. And especially when we see all the papers intended, like,
yeah, somebody was going mad. Somebody was going mad loud on the paper, bro. Got arthritis right now.
That's like, he's got to have tried trillions of times, in my opinion. He's got to be in the trillions. That's how many times I think he's tried to do whatever it is he's trying to do. He's
like, bro, it's pitch black.
It's not a sheet of paper. This is a fucking scroll. Like, it's what? Do you not see how much that shit swirls?
Bro. Better question. How'd they even write on that with that floating? How do you even do that? Like, you don't even got a solid survey.
I don't know if someone is literally writing. I think events are just automatically recorded. But then let's say Ananta is trying to save a bus of kids from drowning. He fucked up the first time, and he goes back. The event will say the kids drowned in the bus. Ananta goes back, he saves the bus. Ananta saved the bus from going into the water. But let's say for some reason he does that and it messes up a later event. And maybe now he's like, he just saves the kids from the bus and lets the bus go in the water. Each time the previous event is being rewritten over again. That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
So he's just doing it over and over and over and over and over and over until now there's nowhere to
and
you can't even read the paper because there's too many events on there.
And he just like he can't get to the perfected ending because something always changing something else. Yeah. So it's like he can't ever get where he wants to go.
And I think this was one of those moments where like I wasn't really thinking about it, but it makes sense that his sins, because they're personal to him, would transcend the timelines. It's not per timeline. It's the totality of them all, which is scary.
And if you look, well, I didn't think to do this, but shout out to the chat. I can see a couple of words here. I think I see destruction, save someone. I see revenge.
You cap it. You cap
Want
it.
to stop? No, I'm kidding. I'm not joking. Go to the chapter. Go to the panel. Well, I'll just send it to you in Discord. You can go to the page that I'm on, and you'll see. There's just a couple of words you can make out. I'm not saying it's like a coherent sentence. It's just a couple of words you can make out. I'll send it to you on Discord.
All right.
You can see some writing if you focus too much. There are some cries for help. It creates an alternate universe that disappears. It's so heavy. There's the sum of all the disappeared universes that happen are as a consequence. Yep. Like I see, I see save. I see destruction or resurrection. Maybe that's what it says. I see revenge. Want to stop. That's all I can make out. I can't make out anything else.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, very, very, very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. It's written over already existing writing, so overlapped. I can't recognize everything. Furthermore, it's getting darker. Okay. So this is where we jump back into the Suras and everything. And here's Ananta literally being blamed for this with this fucking menace Ashura there. Like, you attacked the 9 planets, and Sagara's like, bro, there's no evidence. What are you talking about? And he's like, yo, you're the only one who thinks that. We have already done it, and he won't deny it himself. And he's like, well, he doesn't actually stick up for himself. And then they talk about how big his Sura form is. And I think if I remember correctly, this is interesting because his Sura form is supposed to be like bigger or as big as the universe, something crazy like that. And I don't remember if it was the last sentence or somewhere it says that like even if he could surify at light speed, because of light years and how big the universe would be, it would still take him an enormous amount of time to actually transform into his Sura form. But because he's a time being, there's probably a way for him to surify like immediately, which is interesting to think about.
Oh.
So yeah.
You making sense.
Yes, I agree. I'm late again because I'm watching Ace of Diamond. Hey, you're not mad at that. I know Ace is lit. They are riding on a Sura body of Ravana, by the way. Oh shoot! I think is Ravana the one they said that could take the hits? I gotta remember. One of them apparently could like.
Yeah, Ravana's like the immortal one, the one that it's like one of the few immortal ones.
Okay.
That's the B bitch.
Like a hard drive. Yep. Is it?
Really
saying by the way, but Ashura saying that he can't remember is not a good argument. Is true though. By the way, go ahead.
I was gonna say if any of the Nastikas or Astikas saw those papers, what do you think their reactions would be? Because I think a lot of the Nastikas would have to be on their knees, like sweating and apologizing.
Man, I don't believe that because they always think the same thing, no matter what they see. Oh, we see this event. All right, gotta kill him. Like that's all they think. That's all they think all the time.
Remember, a lot of the Nastikas think that what's his name doesn't do anything. That's a lot of people's beef with the Nata. Like, you don't do anything. But if they saw this,
you're a bystander.
Yeah, but if they saw this visible proof,
man, can they read? like they may not even understand it if they looked at it.
Maruna can understand it now, so I'm gonna assume that a lot of them can. But it's like, how does he prove that it's him doing it? They could be like, I don't know where the fuck did this girl come from? This cannot be you. I don't know. I can find them. Because some of them you can. They will press X to doubt.
right, yeah. Because some of them can kind of tell. Like, yeah, obviously Maruna was a lot smarter. Like, Sagara is obviously a lot smarter than the natural. But I don't know. Some of them, they just look at me like, what this mean? Mm-hmm. Or I don't care what this means. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, they would blame that for sure. Usher's a chaos merchant. Yes, look at him. He's talking about our justification is complete. You don't care what the truth is. He just want to cause some fucking mayhem.
Bro, he just look like
characters purely based on.
Bro, I don't even like. I look at him. I don't even know why they entertain him. I feel like if he show up, all right, it's time to go. I'm like, oh, Oscar here? No, we're not talking. Oscar will be like, hey, I got something. I'll be like, nope. Like, whatever you got to say, we'll talk next time. I got to go use the restroom or something. Like, nah. Because he always bringing BS to the table, bro. Like, what's good with you?
That's why Yaksha used to beat his ass.
Yaksha's like, man, what the fuck wrong with you, nigga? yeet to another planet. He just yeeted that man. That was so cold. Ashra's funny. I wish Yaksha was there.
Yeah, shout out to Yashka, man. That's my guy.
So you can count on your hands the amount of times your full Sura formed since the beginning of the universe. I bet you don't have any memories about moving about freely. Is this a great opportunity for you to wind up once? And he talks about, oh, I have memories of that in my imagination or some shit in my delusions. And after Sagara's like, why are you joking like this? And he's like, you think it's weird, but look at his face. What is the significance of his hair color doing that? Why did that happen? This is easily the one scene. Like, I don't know why. Like, why does his hair do that? But that's some Kubera shit.
It could be something. It could be nothing. Who knows?
He has certified more times. He remembers. Okay, yeah. This was the scene that threw me for a big loop. But anyway, in the end,
like I'm like, did he gain some of his power? Does he like? Is this the part where like Kubera is starting to lose parts of his name, and he like has a piece of it with him or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I know it's significant though. Like, I know this is incorrect. This panel, I don't understand it, but I know it's important. So, Earth attribute, golden scales of Ananta. Okay, I guess he's Earth. Did I know that? Anyways, so we get back here. So not only is the record getting darker, it's tearing apart. It keeps flying over this way. I have to block it. I don't know how much, but this is tormenting Rao. And he's like, sorry, I dozed off. Don't block it. It's what I have to receive. And he's talking about Ananta's his friend. And we were like, bro, just because he said he'll do Earth and Sky. And that's what I'm saying. I thought he was partially Sky because I thought I missed. I didn't want to comment. I thought I missed something because I'm like, I thought Ananta was Sky because like Indra and Garuda, they were the only ones who could have done whatever they did to those 11 planets for a second. But I guess he's Earth. He's a hybrid, I guess. Okay.
He has 3. I thought they all have 3.
Shit, man, that's my fault then.
Yeah, I think he's Sky, Earth, and I could have sworn I'm pretty sure Nastikas have 3. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Something about the Nastikas, the more effed up they seem to be, the longer they live. Do I agree with that? There's probably some truth to that. But a lot of them are, like, I mean, Ganhavra was screwed from the... I guess the outliers would kind of be Maruna and Ganhavra, who are changing with time. Even though Ganhavra still sucks, he's taking too long, but... Anyway, so he has to receive it. He was told not to leave the temple. So as he's receiving it, he actually sees a passage to what could possibly be his own time. And what's interesting is, I think at the end here, sorry, does it say that he's reading his facial expressions? Yes, I think so. Yes, down here. By the way, shout out to the blog post like being more extensive down here like this. I like that. They kind of went more to detail here instead of like the one little paragraph. I don't mind. But so that's why they said Ravana's camera was a footstool, because they're all riding Ravana. I didn't get that joke the first time. Now I'm caught up. What Nastica tribe would like to be? None of them. But if you ask me to pick one, I'd probably want to be the Vitra clan. They just seem to be like doing their own thing. Be a dragon, fuck off, leave me alone. I'm not a part of the politics, but you know it comes with its own set of pros and cons. But I'm a Vitra clan merchant. I like the dragons. That's just
Yaksha clan all the way.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I like Yaksha clan, but also I'm a Kanari clan.
I like wolves, so.
There were people who joked that Ananta is so big that even if you certify the speed of light, it would take a long time. You have to worry about that since she has the time ability. Conversely, some of these other Nasticas are not free of this problem. So some of them are so big it could take a long time. There we go. In this episode, Ra was responding based on Maruna's facial expression and gesture. Since he can read expressions kill carefully, why didn't he notice Maruna single since birth expression as the same? Was suffering from listening to his love stories in the last episode. Maybe it's not that he didn't notice. I don't think he didn't notice that Maruna didn't care about his stories. But Maruna didn't act maliciously against him, even though he was hearing them. So at this part here, he's actually able to know that Maruna is looking at a passage of time that's related to him solely based off his facial expression. I think that's actually a very deep level of insight to have without being able to understand the language or literally have insight. It's a very good guess.
Yeah, very insightful.
Yeah. Dragons lose feeling though. Yeah, I don't want emotions. It's just trash. I'm trying to
Oh,
be a dragon.
oh, you one of those.
I'm trying to be a calculating robot, logic and reason, pragmatism,
Ew,
nothing else. Feelings?
ew.
This is not the series to be all emotional,
No, I'm
because
kidding.
nobody care.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah. Yo, what's going on, Kaku? Bonjour.
See me, if I
Mhm.
was in this story, I'd probably bring in a very delinquent style approach. Story, unfortunately,
Mhm.
I'm definitely pulling the I can't live knowing people thinking they can fuck with me type approach to this story.
I'm on my
That's
Yaksha
from Out,
gimmick.
right?
Yeah, I'm bringing that fucking approach to this story, bro. Because I feel like that's the only way you gonna get around. Like, man, listen, you can't trust nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like if I get,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got to fall out, man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I find Rao's ability to read him very interesting. And
Now, Oscar just run around causing problems. I'm not causing no problem. But if you cause me a problem, the
mm-hmm.
problem being caused right back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Zodiac. I'm also using silent magic, 100%.
Oh, 100%. 100%. No question.
Ew,
I'm not a good.
ew.
I'm not a good person. Okay.
I'm not good enough to avoid not using it.
Basically,
Like,
okay, all right, fair enough. Maybe I like that answer
yeah.
better.
Yeah, I still think I relatively be okay, but like we in a world where I don't feel like you could just be like, cool, I'm gonna just run around
No,
being
I'm not Ashura. He's looking for trouble. He's a menace. I'm not looking for trouble. But if it comes around this way, you might get clapped. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. That's a fact.
I'm trying to be left alone. I'm trying to chill. All right. I'm trying to do
Because
what I gotta do.
Osiro was running up on people fighting stuff like that. I'm not doing all that. He was doing way too much.
The, oh god, he's so funny. He just chooses violence no matter
In
what.
fact, I'd argue probably be closer to early Maruna, where he's like, he's just doing shit for the sake of the mission and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like he didn't feel one way or another about doing what he had to do.
Yep. Big
Didn't mean
difference.
nothing.
So we're gonna be Cali servants. I don't know if I follow in Cali, but if it makes sense,
Nah.
I'm not chaos though.
You see what Callie does to her people? All her people are ugly, and then they do what she turned them into giant monsters and freaks. Nah, I'm not trying to do any of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be pretty. So yeah, you come from this time too. Heard what their passage closes, and he's like, "You have to come with me. You worry about me again. You are a kind-hearted Sura. What a kind-hearted Sura you are. You know why? Do you know why I love that line so much?
It makes it sound like the outlier.
There's that. That's not a bad guess. But I know like thing comes later on in this chapter. But think about the contrast of Rao's initial meeting with Maruna in comparison to somebody's village who got blown up by this guy in the very first motherfucking episode type beat.
That's true.
I think that's such an interesting contrast. Cause as far as we knew up until this point, all Leez wants is this nigga's head on a platter. Okay? For what happened to the village and among some other things. And Rao's like, what a nice Sura you are. You're kind-hearted. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. I love it.
Now it begs the question: what
Mm-hmm.
Savini what Maruna did?
Say that again?
I said, now it begs the question: what would he do if he knew what Maruna did?
And how it affected his daughter. J'ai m'a brisé mon cœur à la femme Maruna qui se fait détruire par les pets. No. Nah, it bruised my heart too. Trust me. Maruna, man. We're gonna talk about his character arc, I promise. But it's just he's come such a long way. He's the greatest. I love him. Okay, I think he's like top 3 now for me. Ananta will come. He won't leave me like this. I trust him. He's my friend. I'm sure he'll come. I did not think he would do this. I actually thought he was gonna take him and just fly into the portal.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh mon dieu, he threw him into the portal. He stayed. I was like, nah, you can't handle the sins. You want the sins? You can't handle the sins, okay? You can't handle them. You're not ready. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's gotta happen now. The only way he could probably survive in the fifth stage? I don't know, right? That's what I'm thinking. Straight up, he starts thinking back, let him erupt. One of these two options. If I'm in golf with them, there's no hope. Could it be me? He's like, no, nigga, it's not you. Stop it. And he like blows up here. I think his face like explodes. I can't really tell what's happened, but it looks like his head is gone. I did not calculate my action, just like you said, and this is the result. Don't you think what you taught me was nonsense, Kubera? And after she's like, do you regret your choice? And there she is, bro.
It kind of reminds me of what when Callie was talking to Leez, and she was talking about like, oh, well, if you do this, this, and this, then this is gonna happen. But if you do this, this, and this, like, you already lost, but you get to keep things a certain way like this way. Kind of reminds me of that situation a little bit.
Yep. Oh, these endings with Lee's popping. Hold on, I gotta move Asher for a second. With the Lee's
So
popping up. Go ahead.
what do you think those things surrounding her are?
I think it's just the particle effect of her popping in, but it
Okay.
does look similar to like what the God of Earth kind of has around him sometimes when his hair color is changing. I don't know if I'm just over analyzing that, but
That's why I thought it was Ananta.
okay. Oh,
And
because
that's
because
why
because of how he
I
changed in
thought the
this
new
chapter.
change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I
It's
thought
the
it was
outfit.
Ananta.
The outfit is how I knew it was Lee's because of the way that the damn it, what do we call it? What's it called again? The cloak of
Cloak
the
of bondage.
yeah that Lutz had and everything, right? So I was like, it looks like this is how she looks when she's draped around in her cloak. He has like his chest out and his arms are a little hairy, and he has the little like scarf thing around his arms. So, but yeah, this is insane. Katan, go ahead and tell the people your theory in the chat so we can talk about it. I want you to get full credit, so I want you to type it out first before I say anything.
Uh,
But I think this chapter was awesome. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we
yeah.
gotta talk about it. Like, can you guys just think about like really try to quantify how many times Ananta must have tried to do so many things for that paper to be for that
It's
scroll to
incalculable.
be. That's what I'm saying. It's immeasurable number. Doesn't exist. Quintin
Like
in Chilean. I don't know how many zeros that is, but
now, now with this, and you even saying the thing where this probably isn't the end game, bro. Now I'm far more confident now that I think this is the point where Anata realized Rao can partially hold it. I can partially hold the sins. And that's why they did make Leez, where it's like, we're going to give this girl all our names to empower her enough to hold the sins. Now I'm curious as to where the Kubera part comes in, because Kubera obviously wants to do it to help Anata, because he says everything's for Anata.
For the sake
But
of
then it's
Ananta,
like,
yeah.
but it's like, how do we know? How would you know that your name would provide any benefit in aiding this cause? Because
Well,
Because at least we at least know.
I think we have to go back kind of to the like where the part where he's having the conversation with Yama, and I think it starts there, and then yeah, how it leads is still unfolding. So I guess we'll find out probably the next, I'm guessing 10 to 15 chapters, how the rest of that's gonna play out.
Yeah. Like, okay, repeat what you just said, Miles.
I was saying that like I think Anata and Ralph. I don't want to say like Ralph, but like they helped like create Lees for the sake of like holding the sentence. Because they realized Ralph can do it, Anata can do it, so at least their names with names having power can hold the thing. And Kubera's there, but that's why the Kubera piece is interesting because, as Men said, he poked with Yama about doing anything for Anata, so it makes sense why he would add his name or being the piece while Anata and Rao are gone to be the advisor to make sure this plan is actively going through. But then it begs the question, I guess, why would he add his name into the mix of the creation of this girl? Because I don't think his specific name, because he could do all this without weakening himself with the name, right? So I'm like, what benefit would him giving his name to Anata Kubera Lees bring? Unless him giving her name allows him to always keep track of her and something of that nature, so he could be the advisor to like make sure she does what she
As
needs.
far as the name goes, the variable that's throwing you off is Kubera's name. Like, why did he give it?
Yes.
Why? Okay, I got you. I'm with you. Because that's a good question. But hold on to that thought. So, his theory, so Kadan's theory is that Rao was bait laid by Ananta to bring out time Leez. Ananta was hoping for a chance to come to change the events, and Leez is the vessel who can hold the sins, not Rao. So and I'll bring this up again because here's what I was thinking, right? Are Anata's attributes only earth and lightning? From when I remember, lightning it's like earth and sky, right? Earth and lightning, I think. I don't think it's. He said there's three for some of them. I don't remember if she had a third one. But here's what I'm thinking. I think your theory makes a lot of sense. I like that. It's like, did Ananta say you can't handle the sins, knowing that maybe by this point in time, because of what Kubera taught him about not being too calculative, he would have tried to take it on, right? I don't know. But here's what I'm here's only my only pushback is this. There's a part of me that truly believes that Ananta meant what he said when he's like, Rao, you cannot leave this temple. We can't leave this cave or area that we're in. And Maruna active and impulsively and throwing him back out into time, I think is eventually how he gets to maybe live the life that to start his family before maybe getting called back by Ananta for something else. But it's, I guess your question is, do you think that Rao not being there is a good thing or a bad thing ultimately? I think that's the question you have to ask yourself, because that's the thing that that's what I'm wrestling with.
Oh yeah, my second thought. This is my second thought. I think Ananta. Yeah, I think I have very positive opinions of Ananta. I don't think he would do anything really like underhanded or anything. Mm-hmm. I genuinely think he is coming back. I think the sins to him affected him mentally and physically so much that I think he needed to let the weight of the sins be gone for some time period so he could actively make a proper plan to accurately deal with them. Okay. That's what I think.
Okay. All right, I'm not mad at that. Another theory is that when God Kubera killed Ananta with the spear, he became a being with two names, just like Kinara, and the name that Kubera got shattered. To sustain himself, the name was given to Leez. I guess
that makes a lot of sense.
That actually is a good connection.
But I guess my question at this point is, what's the connection between Rao and Kubera? Why did he give it? I mean, we knew he gave his name to a lot of people. So
this could be the thing, right? The three of them don't necessarily have to be working together for this to happen, right? The only connecting
I know,
piece
but even then though, why did he decide to give it to?
Because he would know that because
who named Leez Kubera? Was it the mom or him? Do we know that?
I would assume I think you have to get the permission of the god. I could be wrong.
That's what I'm at. That's why I got questions. Like,
I could have a kid in his name of Kubera, but isn't it considered blasphemous or something like that? Because there's a bunch of halves and people running around with the name Kubera. She wasn't the only one. There was the halves that Asher killed.
That's what I'm saying.
There's Lila. She's the only one. Lila's name is Kubera.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, Vince, what I was saying with that was, so Kubera wants to do this with Ananta. And as Keaton said, if he did get the two names, and his whole thing is his goal is similar with Ananta, which is getting rid of these sins, right? This would actually make sense that Raul wasn't a part of what happened to Leez, because there was no way with his personality being similar to Leez that he would let his daughter take on this weight. So I think Kubera did this without Raul knowing that when his death came, he then passed on the names to Leez, for Leez to then become the perfect vessel to hold said sins.
See, but that's why I'm connecting it kind of to what Nye said. Do we know who named it? Because I can see it where Raul wanted to name Leez or gave Leez part of the name of Ananta, but then Kubera talked to the mom or something like that, and she gave her the name Kubera.
It could be that Ananta, when he lets Raul go, he tells him he should name his daughter Kubera. Because I could see that Ananta and Kubera hid what their true plans with the sins were from Raul.
Raul was that connecting he's a catalyst for them to get what they need to get done. Unfortunately, he's more of the vessel to be used than to, long story short, he's not the chosen one, but he's the link to it, the chosen one.
Yeah. And since he was kind of like an almost semi-perfect vessel, it's like, well, we can now empower the person with his power and his name
Mm-hmm.
by giving us our own.
Mm-hmm. The
Or
ones
it could be the case that Kubera tried to get the Rao, but by the time he figured out where Rao was, he was already dead. So he just went for the next best thing, or he couldn't find him or something like that. Because he ended up at on Ash's planet during a very
Yeah,
critical time.
that's why I think Anata let him go because he realized this isn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he let him go back and have his daughter, and basically they put the new plan on the daughter without Rao's understanding.
I know Vinci had like 7 minutes, right? Safely.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I do have one big question I want to ask you. Let's get to the comments real quick, and then we'll get to it. I think Ananta's name became one with Kubera, and it was so much it leaked into all Kuberas. That's interesting. It was Rao according to her mom, if I remember season 1 correctly. Someone told Rao, yeah, and I don't think you need permission from the god. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. I remember not needing permission too. Judging by Kubera's reaction when Rand told him about Saha, there are plenty agonies and no one cares. It's not really blasphemous because normally that wouldn't matter. We also need to learn what God leads someone as a child, which I think is who Bented. It's hinted, implied it's the God of Earth, but I don't think we know for sure, for certain, right? I think it's one of those things
Mm-hmm.
where we're assuming it. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
explicit, but not quite there. Do you think that this being that is Leez now is kind of like Madoka when she took all the responsibilities of the magical girls? That's interesting. To think about.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison for sure.
Yeah. Well, usually when I see characters like this, I think about like Homura and I think about Madoka, because and right now I see Anata as Homura, if I'm being honest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if she's become that full embodiment yet, but I think at some point it's gonna happen. But yeah, she's gonna have to take all the sins on for the universe to like. I think she's gonna end up being a tragic figure that no one even remembers in a lot of ways. I think Kurt Gunn gonna hit us with something mean. She
Or
comes.
they're gonna remember like parts, but never the full thing. They'll be like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm missing something,
Yeah. Well,
but
anyways, here's your dinner. Rand 2
yeah.
Junior, whatever. So they all living peacefully. Okay, it would probably be great naming after a petty god like Indra or Chandra, but naming after chill gods, why not? I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. But I do think with Kubera, like it's obviously a lot more. Okay, here's my question before you gotta go. This is what I've been thinking about. How do you think Anato goes about trying to accomplish his goals? Do you literally think he trials and errors it? Do you think he actually tries to think it through? Do you think there comes a point where he's tried enough things, all he can do is literally change one variable and oh, that didn't work, let that happen, change one more small thing? Like, how do you think his process of trying to get shit to work through his timey-wiminess works? I don't know if you get what I mean.
Maybe he has like a cause I don't think he knows all the science and math to try to figure out. I guess maybe he takes like an educated guess.
I
Cause I
would
don't
say
think he's
because
dumb or
I don't
anything.
think he's stupid, but I don't think he's like I don't think thinking or him. I don't think he's a cerebral character. If that makes sense. I think his
Yeah,
knowledge comes from the fact that he's a time being. But sorry, continue.
yeah. So I think it's probably for me. I think he it's a guesstimate. Also, it's kind of hard for him because he has so many lapses of judgment because if he doesn't remember what happened, so it's probably a guesstimate. So where my guess is.
Mm. Miles.
I want to kind of. I feel like if he could do the intelligence thing, he would. I feel like I feel like he was probably one like he's very similar to Lee, so I think in his beginning stages he was extremely optimistic with like having time powers where he was like, "We'll have all the time in the world."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that caused him to do things through trial and error because it doesn't matter. And I think he kind of like realized like the foolishness of it at a certain point where it's like this shit like just doesn't change. So
Okay.
yeah, I would probably say the trial and error thing. I guess it's also hard because it's like if the Rao and Lee's thing are what's so important, where were they in all these other different timeline and universes?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Trial
would
and
be my question.
okay. Trial and error, but I think another tries to make everyone happy, which won't work. Trial and error with educated guesses, with foresight. I ate a banana Tuesday. Let's not do that this time. Okay, like it's oh, there's so much to consider. I need a bit more information, but like here's my headcanon. This is purely theoretical. This is not true. It's not based off anything but what I think. Um, think originally I'm with you guys. Optimistic. I got these time powers. I can make the world better. And I do think he originally tried to make everyone happy, right? So for me, I think originally it was more like a trial and error thing, solely because maybe he didn't even fully understand what it is he could and couldn't do and how it worked. Just had to figure it out. So I think for a long time it becomes trial and error. And after he gets used to the ability and the time and how things work and how the sins could affect him, I think that's when he starts to try to make like more educated, more like specific moves. Okay, like if Chandra does this, Indra will do this. Probably this should happen. This should be the outcome. Doesn't happen. Fuck. Okay, what if I pressure Indra to do? You know, like I think I kind of that's how I see it. But I'm sure he's seen so many similar or same events so many times. I wonder if he has to force himself to react a certain way to get certain reactions. Like, okay, so let's say the conversation with Garuda. Usually Garuda steps to him in every universe no matter what, right? I wonder if he
Mm-hmm.
always acts as calmly as he did, like just now, like, you're always the one who steps up to me. I wonder if there's times where he has to be like more antagonistic, or maybe be more like a victim, or fight. Like, I
He
don't. I
probably
don't
he probably does change depending on what he needs to arrive. He's probably gotten good at that as he's gotten, to do this so many times. Like he kind of when he first walked up on Maruna, or was it like the second time he was kind of like scary towards him.
mm-hmm.
Like he was kind of like in the first time he was like, hey yo, I like met before, but this time like the aura very scary. So he probably you know maneuvers it depending on how he feels like he needs to act according to the kid. But most of the time, he probably wants them to drop their guard though too.
Okay.
'Cause I think it's a purposeful choice for him to act like. Obviously, we know he's like kind of be a bystander now, but I think it's also a purposeful choice that he doesn't try to like arouse suspicion to himself with any type
He
of things because
he
if he
he,
did, he
he
couldn't
he's one of
move.
those characters that like people to kind of almost look down on him a little bit, or think he's not that intelligent. He like plays that role, even though it's not
Yeah,
true. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm
because
with you.
obviously when he talks to Maruna, he talks to him way differently. I think he does to most. Like, there's probably some people who figured out that some of the older or more insightful people knowing,
Mm,
like Yashka and Arivata when they were around. I think they kind of knew. Who
mm,
knows how much they knew, but they definitely knew stuff. But who knows?
yeah. And I guess I'll leave it off with this. Is Ananta the most tragic character in Kubera, or do you still think it's probably
Yes,
Leez?
it's him then Leez.
Okay.
Because his story, I guess, technically still isn't done, depending on what he has to deal with when he
I don't
becomes
know. There's
back.
so many, man.
I
They're all.
Be-
Because
It depends how you wanna. It
even
depends how
Asha's
you wanna.
is not great.
because my thing is like Kubera, Asha, all these people's things, their experiences are still tied to one like lifetime. He's done what they did in one lifetime
No, see,
times
that's what
like
I was. That's why I
infinite.
was gonna push back because I was gonna say because I was gonna say Brilliant.
Mm,
'Cause I was
Yeah, she
gonna
lives a
argue.
bunch of yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
true,
so
but
I would argue hers is the worst because she don't even have like obviously Anata is like top three, but like he seems to either have doled himself because you gotta think about all the Ashtakas and Nashkas and all that they live a long time anyway. They've always kind of done it. But she was a human. They're not supposed to go through this. So the mental damage and psychological damage it does to her is probably the far worse.
okay, but then this kind of goes back to funny enough Naruto, but it's like just because his senses have dulled or he's gotten used to it, it doesn't make it any less
No, I'm
bad.
not saying it does, but I think it does add something where you do because, like I said, the other ones they've always lived thousands of lives, and for them it's kind of like the concept of a moral concept was kind of always kind of meh. Obviously, he's way more advanced than the other ones when it comes to stuff like that, but even then, it's still kind of eh.
Though, though
Because
Brilith,
Brilliant, as soon as she gets her memories back and they shoot through, it's like, oh fuck, you gotta
mm,
remember all your people died again, all sorts of stuff. But he's definitely top three. Not to diminish what he's going through, because
But
he's
also, at
basically
least with
alone.
at least with Brilliant too, she also kind of knows that Agni will always be like. At least she also knows like even like within this infinite like reincarnations and shit, she has somebody. Even though she has her own
Yeah,
like weird like awkward relationship with Agni, she knows that there's always something that she can gain new friends. She and that is just so far removed that like all these different timelines and different changes have basically made it seem probably that even the people that he does know are probably so different, or the things are so different from his original timeline that he's actually just the new guy in town every fucking time.
yeah. I would
And
just say this:
especially dealing with the
he doesn't
same
have
thing
anyone
over
that
and over.
understand. He
That's
doesn't
what I
have
was about
anyone
to
Yeah,
that
say. No one
understands him.
understands him. No one can
Because
understand
even
what he's going through.
Sagara, she loves him, but she don't understand him at all.
Not
She just
one
loves
bit.
him blindly
Yeah,
without understanding.
yeah. And it won't work that way. It won't work that way. But that's interesting.
yeah.
I wanted to throw that in there. Oh, monkey wrench at the end there. When are you done? When do you think you'll be free again for the night?
8:30 your time, probably something like that.
Okay, so we'll do 5:40 around then.
Okay, all right, I'll be back then.
Okay, that's fine. All right, brother. Oh yeah,
Yo,
you're. I really want Brilith Lee's a team up of tragic badass characters. All of them, bro. All of their stories hurt. Raltaro's story hurts too. Brother got cursed by all the gods and lived through those curses in multiple incarnations, but she also got blessed to have good times with Agni by gods. Yeah, I don't think it's Brilith. That's not a bad answer though. I don't dislike that. I don't think shit was easy for her, but I think it's Ananta right now. I think by the end I could think it's Lee's. I have my reasons for why, but it's just like, yo, that you guys. I don't even think people comprehend. The paper is black. Yo, the paper is black. No one knows what that man is suffering or going through. How many times you have to see people he likes, cares about, loves die or go through some BS, man? Like, oh, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
And no one understands. No one cares. They all think he's not doing shit. It's just like, do you his face, like his expressions that he makes, they hurt me when I look at it. I won't lie to you. It hurts. It hurts to look at his expressions sometimes. I'm like, bro, Anata is suffering in silence. Cause
Yeah, like
yeah,
I was gonna say, like, think of even like movies, right, where we have these repeat days, like a Groundhog's Day or like something of that like nature, right?
hmm.
Where people are stuck in time loops and have to deal with their best friends, family, lovers, and it's like, dude, I know everything you're gonna say before you said it. I have revisited this same day
Hmm.
thousands of times over, and you can imagine the hell that brings to somebody. He's done that, except instead of days, it's entire lifetimes he has to repeat.
Hmm.
And then multiply that by trillions of times over. Dude, that's
Hmm.
insane.
Yeah. And Ram makes a good point. Ram broke after one of those alternate timelines just by almost like being alive too long. Like he started to lose his fucking mind. Like human minds are probably no, bro. Lees will carry that on with you. So that's what suffering when he was having fun with Kanara and them. See, it begs to get: is he pretending because he has to? Like, we're like, I don't know. I can't. Anata has become one of those beings now. I gotta just look at completely differently from everyone in the story because he's outside of time. Imagine the paper is black. Where will Lee's paper start? I don't know. Is there a fresh start? Do we Avatar One this? Not Avatar One. Avatar Core this? Destroy the past? I don't know. But I don't think Anata's devoid of moments, like genuine moments of like happiness, intrigue, laughter, and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's just that I think maybe at the very start too. Probably I'll say it happened, but at this point, those moments are probably so far and few between. To the point where I'm pretty
I
sure he has to do things just to make shit just a little more interesting for himself because he's so like desensitized from what he's doing. Go ahead.
I think his true blue moments that he enjoys are like Yaksha and Arivada. I think those moments where he was smiling with them, like kind of like towards like the beginning of the ancient humans and shit. I think he generally enjoys those moments. I think he was like truly happy at that point.
Mm-hmm.
and I think those are probably some of the few things he always looks forward to. I also, I also would guess that I think he's actually still going for like a timeline where everybody's happy.
Hmm.
I think he's like a stubborn fool like Leez, where like no matter how dire it gets, I think there'll always be that like small positive thing that they'll just always continue to fight for no matter what.
Hmm. Yeah. Ryan was seeing white for too long. He lost it. Also seeing his dead family. Yeah. Um. Yeah, this Ananta guy, man. I didn't think that.
Yeah.
She did a good job with this arc because I really came around on him. Like, nah. I started like it's to the point where like I would argue that I was one of the inverse characters that started to believe that this guy was probably a bit of a bystander, you know?
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I'm at one point, I'm like, he is doing so much. You guys don't even know. Like, you don't even like. He couldn't even begin to comprehend. And y'all
Mm-hmm.
live millions upon millions of years too. I'm gonna live to like maybe 65, and it's crazy. I don't know. Oh boy, that
That's why I
paper,
have to.
that paper, man. The fuck.
To me, that's why to me, I feel like we have to see some more shit with like the actual gods, because I feel like they're the ones that are falling behind comparatively to all the other races, where it seems like they seem to be honestly the most ignorant.
I'm not. I don't. I don't disagree with that.
Where like for people that's supposed to have access to the fifth Zen, where they can become enlightened and know all and see. But I guess that's the thing with like it's like the person. It's like the difference between a person who's read 1,000 books versus visited everywhere. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I guess that brings that question into play. Where yeah, they may know everything or be aware of what could potentially happen, but their lack of experiences and actually being around with people or Nasicas has left them unaware of what these situations really bring and what they would mean to the people that are have to deal with them.
Hmm. Yeah. I said, Pati got to give Murder some cheeks after this. He's been going to it. He does pull up on her in the present time when he comes back, doesn't he? In space, I think they're like in space or something. I think he pulls up on her. So we'll see. Not the 1 me over 2, man. He's probably like I probably have him at like 10. He's become that like I can't find a good comparison for him in terms of maybe nah. See, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work. But he I like him. He's get because Homer is one of my Kemi's one of my favorite anime characters, and I like her a lot. And he goes through about a lot of what she's going through in a completely crazier, grander scale. And I do think he's an idealistic fool a little bit. I don't like the best possible timeline to him. Problem is a timeline where literally everyone's happy. Whereas we're starting to get the possible viewpoint that for the gods it's the one that lasts the longest, despite what happens in there. So I wonder at some point humans, gods, and Nastikas, whatever, are going to come to the same page on what constitutes a good life. Is it length? Is it the quality of life? What are they gonna? Are they? Is it a combination of like at least getting to enjoy it for some time? But so there's a Kurigama's not real, bro. She's not real. Oh man, the paper is black. It's not even a paper. It's a scroll. Do you remember in the Weight of Time? That shit was readable. It was legible. You could read that. Now, this shit blacker than my skin? That's crazy. Cause I'm dark skinned. Who the fuck is from Central Huron calling me? I don't know what that is. Hormo's the best though. And Burb owns Asha. It also begs the question: did him repeating events make them worse, or is he holding the? Yeah, like does he make things better or worse, or and by accumulating these sins, is he putting all of what he is trying to work for in danger? There's so many variables here, man. It's crazy. Really provoking. What is life worth and time spans? Then ever Yaksha wanted to die and envy humans. Yeah, I can understand why you do that because of roles and responsibility. And again, if someone's like Naya, you could live 1,000 years, but like it's mid. It's not great. You struggle and fight for everything, and it's like a really hard life. But conversely, you're like, Hey Naya, um, you'll live 100 years, but it'll be 100 like years that are meaningful, full of like love, wealth and things like that. I could see. Did I pause this? I could see it going. I could see it going well. Like I would prefer that. But all right. Shout out to all of my patrons, my CBLs, the priests of fire, but especially my tier 3 subscribers, the fifth Zan Gods. Shout out to Sunny Kathapali, Simi, Shoddy to Your Body, Scobe, Revenant, Miles, Chris, Cayenne, Tris, Chromizone, Abdel, and my boy Alan. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.